What's up everyone, this is Shirley here, and today we're going to take a look at the 9 on Heroic difficulty in the new Sanctum of Domination raid. Now this fight is 2-target cleave, so this should be arms as bread and butter, right? That's why I started with it for this tier coming up. And I'm happy to say that Condemn is not dead, not yet at least, because it does pretty well, spoiler. I'm running the new-ish single-target build, which is Skull Splitter, Double Time, Rend, Warbreaker, Avatar, and now Dreadnought. You could swap out Skull Splitter in the very first row for Sudden Death, seeing a lot of success with that, and in fact, I'm probably going to try it out a lot more myself coming up as well, because you don't really have too many rage issues right now, given the new build and how it kind of plays out. So Skull Splitter doesn't seem like a requirement. We'll see how that goes. Always sim things yourself, of course. But anyway, getting into the fight here, now that we're at 50% on the first 2 bosses, we're going to go in and charge and pop our sweeping strikes and get Rend up on both targets, and then wait our global, and then use our Avatar Warbreaker combo. Go ahead and use that first charge of Overpower to get that, rolling so you don't have 2 just sitting there. And then we're going to be Mortal Striking on cooldown and not condemning, just spamming it off the rip like we were beforehand, which is really weird feeling, but that's the way it goes now. And just cleaving these 2 targets down, they'll do in that pull move where you need to run out and then the push in, or the other one where you need to run to the bosses. And they're going to periodically spawn these ads on a random player, which we've been gripping in because we got a couple of Death Knights here and just cleaving them down. I was saving my first Blade Storm for that first ad that got gripped in as well. And these purple circles on the left there that you'll see, these need to be soaked. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they spawn right in melee very often or at all. So, you got to move out for those or have the range get it. This first big boss here casts 2 things, and the only thing that's really important is that Song of Dissolution that you saw get interrupted really quickly there. I definitely want to kick that every single time it goes out. It puts a dot on everybody. This was the one debuff thing, that circle around Kyra, that you need to run out of, and I just heroic leaped out of that because it's pretty hard pull in. And then that ad, we're going to cleave it down, use our last Blade Storm on these 3 targets here, get 1 last Sweeping Strikes out, and keep cleaving down these 2 targets. Now, during the last execute phase here, and normally during execute phase, I'm not going to be reapplying Rend all the time when I can be pressing Condemn. I'm still going to be using Mortal Strike on cooldown for the new Legendary, our belt that gives us a proc chance to apply Colossus Smash on the target. Still using Skull Splitter, still using Overpower as well, but the only time I'm going to be using Rend during Condemn phases is before a Colossus Smash or before I have cooldowns up like Avatar. Otherwise, I'm just going to be spamming Condemn as filler in between Mortal Strikes there. And like right here, you can see the spikes where I'm like capping out on Rage and you just can't spend it fast enough. So this is why I'm thinking that Sudden Death is probably going to be the way to go for a little bit at least. And this last phase here on the 3rd boss, these big blue swirly things, we need to soak these as a team before the Valkyrie comes down and dive bombs the player. She'll periodically put this dot out on a couple of random people. Luckily, I didn't get it this whole time, so you don't really get to see what that looks like from my point of view, but it goes on a couple of people and they run out and they need to be dispelled in a specific order. That way we can get rid of the debuff because it jumps to the nearest targets and then they can move back in. Another thing is this Soul Link that the boss casts. I think that's what it's called. It's this debuff that you see on the weak aura that's above my or damage frame here that says damage share on it. Now I'm pretty sure that you can reflect these as a warrior, so I'm gonna sneak into here and try and help soak that. I saw somebody was in that and I was at low health, so I didn't want to die, so I moved out the last second. But whenever she casts that, if you're watching for it, I'm pretty sure you can spell reflect each and every one of those. That way you don't get that debuff on you, and that shares damage between you and another random target that she also casts it on. So as a warrior, you should be watching for that. Obviously, this was our first pull on the fight, I want to say. So I wasn't really, aware of every single mechanic's timing perfectly. We're going to come out and help soak this big blue thing. There was also a purple soak in the middle of that. That was kind of hard to see. That's why I was out there with our other warrior, making sure that he didn't die to that. And we're coming down to the end here, dealing with these same mechanics and the massacre lines I forgot to point out, just like we're back on Sired and Athreys. There's that Link Essence that she just casted. That's the thing that you can spell reflect. And as we get down to the last execute phase here, I'm going to go ahead and put up Ren one last time, pop cooldowns, and then get into the condemn phase. She'll cast a shield on herself that you have to... It's a big shield in the room that you got to move her out of. That's coming up here pretty soon. Okay, then we got these last couple of... They're not soaks, but you got to just move out with these big debuffs, and then there's a couple of smaller debuffs that you can see on the right side there that also need to be just spaced out. If you're in melee, you could stay in melee with that, but just, you know, be on the other side of the boss. This is that big shield I'm talking about that we got to move out from. With damage later on, I don't know if we could skip one or even both of these, because she'll do 2 of them right here. I imagine you could skip at least one of these shields with gear later on, but for right now... You know, we got to deal with both of them, so unfortunately losing a little bit of uptime on the boss going, you know, down to the wire here, but that pretty much it sums up the 9 fights in Sanctum of Domination. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time, but yeah, stay tuned for more Condemn stuff. I'm not changing yet, though, so far. We'll see how it shakes out in the latter half of the raid, but anyway, peace.
Get ready to dodge massacres. Unless I do it.
Bye, Crumb.
We're back, babe.
Okay.
We really need to dodge these lines, guys.
Fuck you, dude. Stack on me, stack on me, stack damage.
Damage.